Hey, I'm Vito from GameZone, and I'm here with Luke Eisenhower of Square Enix. How you doing, Luke?
I'm doing fantastically, thank you.
All right, and what game are you showing us here today?
I'm showing you Final Fantasy XIII-2, which is the sequel to Final Fantasy XIII that came out last year.
Awesome, and now what can you tell us about Final Fantasy XIII-2? And this is obviously a follow-up to a very popular RPG.
Well, basically, yes, it is a very popular RPG, and it's a continuation of the story, basically that follows the new protagonist, which is Lightning Sister Sarah, who has awoken in a new time where basically lightning has disappeared, and there's a sudden attack on her new town of New Bodom, which takes place on the land of Pulse, and a new character named Noel mysteriously appears, and the two set off to find lightning.
So it's your traditional Final Fantasy, there's a lot going on kind of story.
Yes, we basically have this giant interactive world that was built for 13, and it's been repopulated and is open for exploration.
All right, now this is the opening here.
Yes, this is basically the Brescia ruins, which fans of 13 will recognize the Lake Brescia area from the first game, and it's basically now there is a dig site going on for these artifacts that are appearing and creating time paradoxes. There's not a lot that we can expand upon that, but the simple fact that the paradoxes exist presents the current problem at hand.
Are not exactly your common everyday occurrence.
Not that I'm familiar with. I didn't exactly wake up and find myself 2,000 years in the future. Not saying that that's where this is. In fact, the time is still yet to be discovered. So, right now, actually what we have here, this is our new character Noel, and people will recognize Sarah as Lightning's sister, and they're accompanied by a Moogle.
One of the classic Final Fantasy guys.
Yes, and people actually can experience the joy of watching the Moogle turn into a weapon, which is either a sword or a bow for Sarah.
That's a first for Moogles, isn't it?
Yes, Moogle, like Mog was a playable character in Final Fantasy VI, but other than that, this is one of the first times that people really get some interactivity with a Moogle.
Yeah, it's been a while. They've mostly been kind of relegated to mini games and other things.
Exactly. And so right now what we have is this paradox has created this existence of this creature that is now completely devastating the dig site. And so now we're about to go into our first battle. Basically, the battle system retains the exact same paradigm shift that was before. There are certain modifications that will be released at a later date, but the basic paradigm shift for people that aren't familiar is you have roles that you can establish. In this case, we've got them both in the commando role, which is the primary attack mode. I can switch them to slash and burn paradigm, where one commando will be the primary damage dealer and the Ravager will be a magic user that was used to increase the stagger bar. We have also implemented cinematic action, which are basically quick time responses that can not really make or break a battle, but pulling them off correctly will set your team at an advantage.
Kind of gives you a little bit of an edge.
Exactly, and then pulling them off incorrectly will deal damage to your characters and possibly even status debuffs.
Well, the graphics look incredible. Oh my god. And now you have a little kind of quick time action event here.
Yep, and then another one coming up right here to actually strike the blow. And then, since I pulled them off correctly, I've dealt some damage to Atlas, and that's his name, Atlas. At this point, these are more of the troopers that are actually coming in to defend the dig site, which you'll see a lot of the soldiers actually walking around in the town in a second.
Those are some big numbers.
Yeah, there's quite a lot of them actually, and we had a just fun quick time response where we actually got to control the fire of the ships onto Atlas, and so we've temporarily rendered him disabled. He's not gone. He actually is the main boss at the end of the demo when you get to fight him in his full form.
Okay, so he keeps coming around.
Yes, he does.
And these are all the same environments from the last game, so they'll be familiar to people who've played Final Fantasy XIII.
They will be familiar, but due to the paradoxes, there will be certain differences, things that exist that didn't exist before, and a lot of that detail will be explained later.
Very interesting.
So yeah, here's a lot of the soldiers, and you get a lot of open exploration to run around and check. Weather is modified, as you can see. There wasn't any rain in the Brescia area in the first game, but now there is. And
the environment effects look great. Like all these graphics, really detailed, really crisp.
They definitely take their pride in making these as polished as possible in Japan.
I would say the Final Fantasy games are probably the prettiest ones out there. Especially the boys. Gentle and smooth-skinned young boys. No comment from the Square rep on that.
No comment. No comment. We're about to notice one of the first changes in the battle system. In the previous title, enemies would be running around on the map, and you could just walk up, and if you hit them from behind, it would start what was called a preemptive strike, and if you meet them face on, then it would just start the battle. Now we get this thing called a Mog Clock, which appears down here, and you have to strike an enemy at the exact moment when it's pointing in green, and you'll start with buffs. In this case, since I did it, I caused a preemptive strike, and each of my characters gained a haste bonus. And then there's also, if you hit it when it's in the yellow range, you start the battle normally. And then certain Mog Clocks will have a red range, or if you just hit it there, or if you let it completely time out, you'll start a battle with status debuffs. And a lot of the time slow, sometimes deprotect, and
that's always a good thing for RPGs, is to have a little bit of a, what do I want to say, some variety in how you get into a battle. I know I've seen it in other RPGs.
Yeah.
I definitely like to see something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if it's one thing we're really trying to do here is increase the strategy for the players when they're entering their battle, and there'll be a lot more features going into the actual battle system to expand upon that. Yes. And if there's one thing I can point out, hopefully I don't defeat these guys too quickly. Oh, I did. Okay, right there. That is a Flambanero that I defeated in my last battle, and because of that, I've now recruited him to my team.
Really?
You actually get the feature in the game of recruiting monsters to fight in your party, and they take different roles in the paradigms. All right, so now we're entering this battle. I'm going to show you. Right now, there's the Flambanero again. He's taking the role of the Ravager. And I can switch to this, which brings in 3 commandos, and now I have a behemoth to control.
Wow. That looks very powerful.
It is indeed, and the monsters can level up with you through the game, but we have yet to divulge exactly what the leveling system is going to be.
Awesome, we'll definitely be looking for it. Looks like a fantastic game. Thank you so much.